I'm looping through the lava lamp, leaving a tail. My whoop's got rhythm, my stick's got soul. I'm the pilot of the party. On a roll, TV remote's a gate, the lamps a dive. I'm flying like it's 7.5. No GPS, no rules, no shame. Just a funky little quad in a soul train frame. Below, we fly that flow. Below, spread that gap. No time to nap. No time to nap. Hit that roll. Funk and control. Funk and control. Bounce that wall. Bounce that all. We fly it all. Funk it all. We fly it all. Funky and free, we fly indoors, we fly with glee. Whoop it, loop it, groove it, move it, bounce it, flip it, funk it, rip it, fly that soul, don't lose control. Tiny whoop love gonna make you whole. I thread the needle through the vinyl stacks, bounce off the mirror ball, never looking back. My quad's got soul, it's got style, it's got sass. It dips through the incense like a blast from the past. I'm flying figure eights through the lava lamp glow, dodging house plants like a funky pro. My whoop's got rhythm, my stick's got heat. I'm the pilot of the party with the grooviest beat. I loop through the hallway, I dive by the broom. I'm the disco ghost in your living room. I hit that split, it's over grandma's chair. She just claps and says, boy, you got flair. I'm flying freestyle with a velvet touch. My quad so smooth it don't need a clutch. From the shag rug to the ceiling fan, I'm the funky little fly with a master plan. The curtains dancing on the breeze, freestyle funk in my living room with ease. Tiny whoop magic bumping every wall. I'm the James Brown of flight, can't stop at all.
My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti, and everything is going wrong right now, but it's okay. It's gonna be fine. I forgot to do this. We'll just take care of it now. Close enough. Welcome to Sunday Q&A. The box from Flywoo just arrived. And so I have a Flywoo DJI 04 wide light with MP66 gyro. And we're gonna see if it fits in my frame. I'm cautiously optimistic. It looks like it should fit in between the front standoffs, which is kind of the biggest hurdle here. Other than that, it should be good. Yeah, that's sort of the plan here. I literally just walked in the door, which is why I'm a little late. Maggie and I's 5th year anniversary was yesterday. And so we went to a town that's like 40 or so minutes away that we've been wanting to go to, and just had a blast. We just got like whatever hotel room downtown and walked around last night, got some good food, relaxed, woke up today, walk around a little bit more, got a little bit more good food, and headed back here. So yeah, I'm I didn't have much time to plan this. I didn't realize that this box was going to be here, so I sort of just threw this together real quick. I'm not super ready, but hey, when am I ever ready for these? When am I ever actually ready for these live streams? There you go. That's from Mighty Car Mods. You should go watch them here on YouTube. They're the best. Yeah, mailbag is here. They offer it when you order from Flywoo. If you order more than $100 of stuff, they offer you a free gift. And my free gift that I chose was an 04 Pro camera TPU protector. I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to use this, but the options weren't great. And if I can figure out what this is for, I think maybe this just goes on the 04 Pro. But I don't think I have an 04 Pro that has the camera exposed enough to put this on the front of it. I lied. It fits perfectly. There it is. If you were ever wondering what that Flywoo item was, now you know. It's got a weird little thingy on the bottom there. I feel like the camera is going to be able to see that. I'm probably going to have to cut that off. Unless that's meant to loop around. That might be for an ND filter. That might be, yeah, something to do with an ND filter. But yeah, this drops right on. Very cool. I'm probably actually going to use it on here just as a little bit of protection. I'm going to just leave it on there is actually what I'm going to do. I'm just going to put this back on the shelf as is. Well, that's cool. That might protect the lens, even though the ducts sit farther forward, so the ducts would hit first. But if I put something right up the middle while I'm going 4 miles an hour with that CiottiFPV, maybe it'll help. I got the 04 light wide upgraded gyro, of course. And then the other thing that I'm really excited about in here that I'm super glad that I ordered because one of these 2S AIOs grenaded like the day after I put this order in was another one of these Flywoo 12 amp 1 to 2S, or is this 2 to 3S? I don't know, whatever. It works on 2S. This is the best one, I think, if you're going to be running 2S. It'll tell me on the bottom. 1 to 2S, yeah, 1 to 2S, 12 amp, ELRS, F405. This has been awesome. There are 3 or 4 different options available. I really think this is the best one. It's the most expensive one. Go figure. It's the best one. But I mean, not necessarily, like in FPV, there's plenty of situations where the most expensive thing is definitely not the best thing. So we can't sort of take that for granted. Nor can we take it for granted. Neither. Here was the surprise of the order. I got a bunch of ND filters as well for the 04 Lite. I wish they didn't sell individual ND filters in these giant cases. This is incredibly wasteful, but this was the surprise of the order. This is the Firefly 25 Mini 3S frame kit. This has an interesting... This was not expensive. This was like $15 or $20 or something like that. This has a really interesting camera mounting sled on rubber grommets. And I'm super interested to kind of compare that setup to like the Caillou Mini. Even though it's not really a fair comparison, this frame is going to be super heavy. I'm also curious what this frame weighs. And so, yeah, this is going to be a little bit of the... this is going to be included in the sort of 2.5-inch testing that I'm doing. I'm hoping that I can just pull one of these electronics packages out, drop it into this, and I'm really curious how the 04 Lite will respond to the soft-mounted camera sled that's on this frame. So yeah, I haven't seen this in stock anywhere else, and so this was my chance to get it because I was doing a Flywoo order, and so I threw it in here. I threw this into the order instead of the Flywoo fan. They put an ESC and a 2306 into a little fan holder, and you put like a 3-inch prop on it. As much as I wanted to get that, this made much more sense for us testing stuff. That would have just been like totally for fun, totally useless. Maybe next time. But yeah, I threw this on here because I thought this would be make much more sense for the channel and for you guys, and I'm sure somebody's curious about this frame. I'm curious about this frame. Maybe it's really good. Having this the Flywoo bind and fly version of this that's 3S is really underpowered. It's not on the right motor. It almost feels like they did that bind and fly just to highlight how good the 2-inch bind and fly is. And so yeah, I'm curious what that frame can fly like with a good setup of motors, propellers, battery, voltage, all that jazz. So yeah, should be cool. I'm excited about that. But the big thing is the DJI Flywoo 04. I mean, why are we putting the word Flywoo in? It feels like it's a collaboration with DJI and RunCam, because RunCam is making making ND filters for this. Flywoo is also making ND filters for this, but I don't know. It's this one that I have here, I guess we can call Flywoo because they swap the gyro out. They offer a service for an extra $20 when you buy this, where they will swap the camera gyro out for the better one. And paying someone else to use a hot air station and swap a chip like that, paying $20 for that, that's pretty cheap. And so yeah, that should be kind of cool to have something that we don't have to jump through the hoops. And also, I'm excited to have this just like for kind of testing purposes, because I have the Flywoo 04 wide just like this, which has the new school gyro on it. So it'll be really cool. You know, things like this frame, I can put both of these into this frame with the soft mounted camera sled, and we'll see. We'll see how good of a job that camera sled does. Should be good. Yeah, I like the idea of having both of these. This is not going to stay in this frame, but I do want to see if it'll fit in this frame. So the first thing that I'm doing here today is I'm going to pull this apart, pull the DJI out of it, the regular old school 04 light out of it, drop this one into it, and as long as it fits, I will sit and fly this thing. This is a 6 battery live stream. Make sure you fly your 6 batteries today. Tomorrow you will thank today you. For my batteries, I'm actually going to fly in the backyard because it's finally not raining. And this is a live stream that I'm doing when it's light out. So yeah, we'll do some live flying in the backyard. We'll see how many times I have to put shoes on and trudge down the hill and possibly fall and get hurt and muddy. So yeah, that'll be super fun. In the chat, hey, Ryan was first. YouTube did the thing was second. Sporny, Level Up, Striker, Frank, Dr. Nicholas, B-Bird, Smirk Station, Philip. Hey, Ryan again, Philip again, it's Brandon again, WKFPV, Phil Bradley, Gusto, Cronut, Dannon. I think I might have gotten everybody. Where the hell is everybody? B-Bird says, what's the deal with Nick Burns' mysterious message today? What was Nick Burns' mysterious message today? I just got home. It's Brandon says, hey, hope your day has been great so far. I'm curious if you would know this. If I crashed my Whoop, the screen went fully black, no OSD or anything. Could that happen from broken cam? Or do you think I'm looking at a flight controller problem? All right, so Brandon, this and many other problems, just take a massive step back from the problem and just think like a third grader. And so as a third grader, you're gonna we'll take a tiny whoop. We'll take a tiny whoop, and we'll look at the tiny whoop, and we'll go, okay, what's my problem? I don't have video. All right, so what's the deal here? So we've got a camera. The camera collects light, turns that light into ones and zeros, sends those ones and zeros down a wire into the flight controller. The flight controller has an OSD chip on board that layers in the OSD. And then the signal goes to the video transmitter. Sometimes it'll go out a set of wires to an external video transmitter. In TinyWhoop's case, the video transmitter is on board, so it's going to go through traces on the AIO from the OSD to get that layer on it into the video transmitter, and then the video transmitter is going to put it into the antenna, and the antenna is going to send it over the air to your goggle antenna. Your goggle antenna comes down into your goggle receiver. That takes the signal and then displays it on the goggles. It's important to think of it like a third grader like that, because some problems can happen in different spots along that flow. Also, problems like this, they can only happen in one specific spot along that flow, right? We established the camera gets video and sends it into the board and then into the OSD chip, which puts the OSD layer. So if in your goggles you don't have that OSD layer, the problem can't be the camera. If the problem was the camera would be sending gray. That's what the camera will send when it's broken. The camera will send gray, and then you'll get your OSD layer on top. Because if the OSD chip is working and the VTX are working, you'll get something, right? So your OSD chip has either failed or... so you're getting... Would you say you're getting black video? Fully black, no OSD. Technically, the OSD chip might be okay, but the traces between the OSD chip and the VTX on your AIO, since I think you said it was a whoop. Yeah, you said it was a whoop. Those traces could be blown up. It kind of doesn't matter because it's all on the AIO. And so when anything breaks on an AIO, the whole thing has to go in the garbage, which is the biggest pain in the ass about AIOs. Unfortunately, with TinyWhoops, we're stuck with them because we need the weight to be so low. But it's important to think about that flow chart in your head, because like if this was a rig with an external VTX, the external VTX could be the problem, or the wire between the flight controller and the VTX could be the problem, right? And so it's really important when you, as soon as something bad happens, to just don't, like, what we have a tendency to do is go, oh, it's the PIDs are their fault. It's definitely the PIDs. The PIDs are what's the problem, right? Everything is always the PIDs' fault. Nothing is ever the PIDs' fault. Ever. Ever, 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 ever. Everyone stop blaming the PIDs for anything. The PIDs never are the cause, ever. Every once in a while they are, but the PIDs are never the cause. The mechanical system is typically the cause. In the case of it being video related, obviously the PIDs aren't the problem, but yeah, we have a tendency to just like, oh, it must be this, or the last video that I saw, so-and-so was having a problem, I think I'm having the same problem. No! 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 Always, always, always take a massive step back and just think about it super basic, because when you think about it super basic, you'll think about the whole system from end to end. And that is incredibly important when you're troubleshooting this stuff. And that is the only way that you can actually get good at troubleshooting it, because that's the only way that you can realize, like, it could be this or this or this. And now let me figure this shit out. When that even when that happens, you're going to be like, all right, it's either this or this. This usually fails, so I'm going to blame this. No, you blame them both. You have to weed this stuff out. Like, yes, there are things that fail more often than others, but the second that you realize it's two things and you're pretty sure it's this one thing, so you spend a bunch of time and money on this one thing, it's the other thing. That's how it works. So, yeah. Always think about the full system. It'll also help you learn how to troubleshoot these things, right? Because there is an incredible amount of just like absolute witchcraft within these. And so there are going to be situations where you have no idea, but at least by thinking about it like sort of holistically, think about the whole system, it will, you'll learn a lot more in the troubleshooting process, and you'll start to actually be able to figure out what fails more often than other stuff. Because otherwise you're just going to keep pointing a finger at the wrong thing. Cool? So yeah, unfortunately, there's not a whole hell of a lot you can do. I'm assuming Yeah, you said crashed or whoop. So when we crash these things, the boards flex and they can cause things can break inside the board. Um, and unfortunately, when anything breaks on an AIO, the whole thing is junk. So yeah, I mean, you can try reinstalling Betaflight. You kind of might as well because the damn thing's broken anyway. But it's not going to help anything. But it doesn't take much time, so just do it anyway. But that AIO is broken, unfortunately. Hate to be the bearer of bad news. Euro says, congrats. Striker says, any way to prevent ejects on the 2 to 2.5 inch carbon fiber build? What's that mean? I might try to make a battery cage, kind of like a TPU strap around the front back. Oh, battery ejections. Yeah, you just got to secure the battery. I mean, it's different on every frame. And so some frames you can use grip on the top of the battery pad and then a battery strap to pull the battery down into the grip, and that'll hold it just fine. Other frames you can't use grip because you have to like slide the battery into it. So yeah, I can't answer that because I don't know what the frame is. I don't know what the situation is. But yeah, if it looks like there's a chance the battery is going to come out, the battery is going to come out. That the battery is like usually about 50% of the weight of the whole quad, and it always wants to escape. So like on any build ever, one of the last steps should be figuring out how you can get that battery held down. And it has to be held down really, really, really well. Like it has to be held down way better than you think it should. Like if you think like, oh, that battery might stay on, it's absolutely not going to stay on. No fucking way. And when a battery ejects, there's a good chance you're going to lose the whole quad. So don't ever, ever fly something where there's a chance of the battery ejecting, because it's absolutely going to eject and you're absolutely going to lose the whole damn thing. Cronut says, hey, what's up? Do you know anything about the upcoming Beta FPV P1, VTX, and VRX? Not one single thing. I didn't even know they had it. I know it at one of the expos that had FPV stuff at it a little bit ago. It was looking like Beta FPV was going to put the Artisan system onto an AIO, which is crazy. But yeah, I mean, the only info was like a couple of pictures of that. But yeah, I don't know anything about it. Dannon says, hello people, what's up? Uriel says, I don't get it either. DJI Flywoo, do they work together? Hey Ryan says, the bind and fly AIO for that frame is kind of strange. It's a rectangle. Yeah, I saw that. I'm not sure if I'm gonna. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Dannon says, I've ordered this bind and fly Flywoo Firefly 20 Pro with 04 wide. I had some camera related issues straight from the box, and now I'm waiting for a replacement with a brand new DJI 04 wide. Okay. Yeah, if you guys ever have problems right out of the box with stuff, don't troubleshoot it. You're just going to make the situation worse, or you're going to void the warranty. All of our shit should work out of the box. For the love of God, our stuff needs to work out of the box if there's any chance of it continuing to work when we start smashing it into brick walls. So do yourself a favor. If something does not work out of the box, contact who you bought it from and be like, this doesn't work. You need to make this right. Don't like, oh, I might have flashed the wrong version of beta. Fuck that. If it doesn't work out of the box, get in touch with who you bought it from and tell them that they need to fix it. Obviously, like, if you don't know what you're doing and you might be like plugging it in wrong, yeah, okay. But if you have any idea of what you're doing and it doesn't work out of the box, don't blame yourself and try to troubleshoot that shit. It's got to work perfect initially so that we can destroy it. Brendan says, only made it to 3 batteries before I messed things up. If you're new, that's pretty normal. Pretty par for the course. Striker says, finally, it's not raining. Today, I've been trying to fly batteries with a 2.5 inch for the past 3 days, and it's just been pouring literally the whole time here in Holly Springs. Yeah, weather's been shit here in Georgia as well. Yuke says, he said, don't buy an analog whoop if you love whoops. Save your money. Something good is coming. Don't buy an analog whoop if you love whoops. Save your money. No idea. Dannon says, Nick announced there's some new analog whoop coming out that he couldn't show, but he recommended to buy it if it'll show up in the market. Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay. Cool. I would trust him. Nick gets everything sent to him because he does the intelligent thing in the FPV worlds and like just does great review videos. And so, yeah, he's way more tied in than me. Infinitely more tied in than me. Brandon says, I really appreciate the way you go about explaining things. Thank you. I wasn't aware of an OSD chip and other things along the way besides the 2 things I initially brought up. Awesome, dude. That is the beauty of long-form content. That is why people that actually want to learn and understand how to, stay in FPV for more than 6 months to a year tend to kind of hang around here. It is very important, in my opinion, to actually learn this stuff. Because otherwise FPV is never not going to be confusing as shit and frustrating as shit. You really have to learn this stuff. And short form content doesn't even do it. Short form content definitely doesn't do it. Regular like 20 to 30 minute review videos, every once in a while with the right content creator you can learn from them, but even that is a tight window of time to kind of teach stuff. So yeah, you're in the right place, dude. And I'm caught up on chat. Let's see if this shit fits. I'm dying to know, because I really want to be able to run this in here. This is a very fast rig. These, the old school super lightweight 04 light is phenomenal for flying slowly, but once you start going faster and faster and faster, the field of view becomes more and more of an issue. Basically, the vertical field of view. Thank God it's a 4x3 camera and sensor, but still, the more narrow FOV does make flying faster and more aggressively with more stick input noticeably more difficult. Still totally doable. I had a blast flying this thing around, but it'll be even better with a little bit of extra field of view. So I guess initially what we can do is just kind of half-ass it. Just get this camera out of the way and drop the other camera in here just to initially see, because there is totally a chance that this outer cage won't fit, but it absolutely will. That is amazing! Huge hurdle cleared, and we've even got a little bit of space left and right. Yo, awesome. All right, cool. So the next question becomes, which little outer cage do we run? Because there's 2 of them. For those of you that haven't seen the Flywoo / DJI 04 light wide, the most cockamamie name ever. It's going to get really annoying saying that. We need to come up with a bit of a shorthand for it. But for those of you that haven't seen this, so there is a cage on this camera. You can take this outer cage with these 4 on each side brass bastards. You can take this whole cage off, and this is a lot smaller. You have to do that if you're going to put it into like the Caillou Mini or the Bando Turtles, for example. Actually, anytime that you're going to put the Flywoo or DJI 04 wide into a piece of TPU like this, you've always got to take this outer cage off. One of these 2, I should say, outer cages off. These are specifically for screw mounting it. And so, and there is a couple of pieces of hardware here. So like, I could get this guy mounted in here with removing this cage, and I could save a little bit of weight, but I'm not really concerned about weight on this build. If anything, I'm actually okay with this build getting a little heavier. Because these motors just have make an absurd amount of power. So yeah, I'm not super worried about that. But what I do need to figure out is which cage to run. This cage here that it comes pre-installed with, this has the old school DJI mounting pattern here from like the 03, and then it's got the new school mounting pattern, the really wide, that 04 Pro has. And so I'll probably end up using these narrow ones because that'll just make it easier to mount in here. But I do really like using the double mounting, the double screw mounting, because then you can print a piece of TPU here that has the up tilt dialed into it so that you actually know what your up tilt is going to be. For right now, what I'm pretty tempted to do is put this on and then use the single screw mounting like I was here. But you know what I can do instead of that? Instead of having to remove hardware, put this on, and then potentially put this back on, what I can do is use the single screw mounting on just one of these, because I don't have TPU yet specifically set up for this. I'm going to bug the shit out of Kevin Sumner to adapt his mount to work here. But for right now, I'm just going to use these regular old single screw loops, and I guess I can just pull them off of here. Yeah, I'll just take it off of here. That's fine. Because I don't... Well, what's going to go back on here? I am going to put this on here initially. I don't think it's going to live on here forever, though. Let me just think about this for 1 second. If you don't have to pull something apart and put it back together and pull it apart and put it back together and pull it... Like, try to not take these things apart unless you absolutely have to, because everything wears a little bit when you pull this shit apart. You know, this build probably will end up with this in it. So, yeah, this is fine. I will not put this little 04 back into this build, I don't think, because this thing is just so fucking fast. With the... It really needs the wider field of view. I might end up putting the Flywoo one into this. It depends on how the gyros kind of do in different scenarios. Like, I now have 2 of these 04 light wides with each different gyro. If one gyro works fine in this bigger build, that's the one that it's going to sort of get. So in terms of, and so here's the other thing. If you use a single screw mount like this on a double, you can pick, do you want to push the camera out farther forward or do you want to suck it in a little bit? If you mount on the top screw, then the camera is going to sit a little bit farther forward. If you mount on the rear screw, you're going to suck the camera in a little bit. And so if I just sort of hold this up, I can probably kind of figure that out. So the camera cable always goes out the top. And so, of course, that screw is going to fall out of there. If this is sitting here, so if we just kind of dry fit this, put this TPU camera loop on here. Okay. And then if I look at where that screw is, okay, I should be okay using the bottom. All right, I'm going to bottom mount it. I'm going to mount this on the bottom screw. That should be good. Okay, and so let me just get this off, and we're not out of the woods yet. Like, I think this is going to fit, but it is... Yeah, you're gonna see. I might need to use all the way down to the bottom mount. I hope that I don't. But let's just throw this in here, just to kind of get us started. And then here's the other one. Oh, for fuck's sake, where'd the screw go? There it is. For fuck's sake! Here we go, and throw this screw in here. Okay. And we're going to use the bottom one there. All right. Okay. So that's looking good. Just to get us started here, I of course set those up wrong. There we go. That's better. Okay, so that's got my up tilt. Okay, so let's pull this regular. I could technically now just unplug this and swap the camera in, but I would have that super annoying calibration error. And so we're not going to do that. We're going to remove this. I love that DJI use these plugs on here because I can just very easily unplug this. What's going to be a little bit more annoying is the VTX antenna, because I do pretty much always E6000 these down. But I'm just going to break this E6000 loose and we'll just swap it out onto the other one, because I do have this antenna like properly mounted and zip tied down in a nice little holder here. So yeah, gotta be a little careful there. And so I'm just gonna pop this UFL up and off, and the E6000 usually comes off in one nice chunk, and as always it is. Okay. Get in here, and I just want to, there we are. Okay, so there's one side, and then here's the other side. All right, sweet. As always, E6000 is the best. All right, so we'll just lift this up, and I do want to look really quickly at, oh look, this is the 04 that's right, this is the 04 that caught on fire. It is toasty as shit. So I do want to look at these two boards just to kind of see if there's any differences. There's apparently there's like one or two tiny differences between the old school 04 and the new one, but it doesn't seem like there are differences that really matter. But I am curious. They look identical so far. Yeah, they're the same thing. All the chips are in the exact same spots. $99BZN, $99BZ. That doesn't look like an N. Looks like there's a slightly different number on this this silver panel. This one over here, the old school one, is 99BZN, and then I can't see the rest of it because this sticker is on top. On this new one, it's 99BZ, and then that's definitely not an N. So other than that, though, it doesn't look like there's absolutely any difference between these two. It's hard to tell by the bottom because there's a giant sticker on it, and this one caught on fire. But from what I can see, they look absolutely identical. I'm tempted to take this case off of this new one to run a bead of E6000 around the little daughter board on the camera to beef that up. But the way that this case sits, it does a really good job of like holding the wire, and so I shouldn't need to do that. I still kind of want to, but I'm not going to do it yet. Maybe if I take this apart to pull this case off, maybe I will. But I also don't want like fresh E6000 on here. So next time I take this apart, if I have a little bit more time, I'm not doing it live, I will probably do that. But for right now, we're going to skip it. And we are going to get this in here in the exact same orientation because nothing is different about the board. Jesus. And so that means we're going to put it like this, but I do need to put the rubber grommets on it real quick. Luckily, they have slotted the outside here, so it's really, really easy to get these rubber grommets on there. Did they stiff me on the rubber grommets? No, surely not. There they are. Okay. And so this is the little hardware kit that comes with the Flywoo. Yeah, there we go. There's the screws that we don't use anymore. That's nice that they give you the DJI screws just in case you need them. They are actually really nice, and they've got Loctite on them. But yeah, we don't need to use those. We do need to use these, and I just want to check if I had the thick side on the bottom. I did indeed. Okay, so that is easy. When the board is slotted like this, I don't probably have to tell you this, but it's super easy. Just pinch them and push them. And it's just like at the last second, take your fingernail and push all the way in the slot there, but you'll be fine. With these ones, when they're slotted like this, you can see what's going on. So like it's very obvious if you don't have it seated all the way. And there we go. Okay. So, let's see here. This guy sits down like that. And something is blocking it, which is kind of weird. Nope. It's all set. I was just being extra fragile. Let's plug this in here. Extra careful, rather. Not extra fragile. You can't be fragile. All right, and now let's see. Will this... Okay, so that the camera cable is going to go out the top. And so let's rotate it around like that to give ourselves enough space. And let's see what happens here. So here's one side. Oh, shit. It might not fit. It might actually not fit. So we can get one side for sure. Yeah, but the other side hits the case. Okay, so... And this is really big. Oof. Okay. So these TPU camera loops will not work. Okay, hold on. Let me just think about this for a second. I need to pull this camera in. So basically, we're too wide. With the body of the camera absolutely does fit within the standoffs, but once you add the thickness of these particular TPU camera mounts here, it doesn't work. I think that some TPU can be designed to make this work. And so basically, what's going on here is that this part of the body here, this thicker, wider part of the body here, is a little bit too wide. And so one option is going to be to remove this and just use this case. There are screw holes in this case that we can use. But I think that TPU can be designed to make this setup here work. I know that TPU can be designed to make it work. The only problem is this clearance here. We don't have a lot of clearance between the front of this stack and these front standoffs. And so that's sort of the next problem that we're running into. Like, how far back or forward do we need this thing to sit? Yeah, so it would need to sit like that. All right, well, let me take this TPU back off. It served its purpose for the first test. What the fuck is going on? Come off of there, Jesus. And then we've got this one as well. Okay. Why don't these screws come off? Jesus Christ. Okay, so let's take this and just dry fit it again. And so here's what I'm kind of talking about. Like, we're sort of out of space here. There's only so much space that we can take. Like, this is as far back as we can get it, and with any amount of up tilt, it's gonna sit like that. And realistically, we don't want it pushed up against the stack. So realistically, like this is as far back as we can get it. Let me try to show you. That motor is gonna kind of be in the way, but let me get a little angle there. Yeah. So with like, call that like 20 degrees of up tilt. See, we're kind of running out of space. Like, that runs the back of the camera into the stack. So realistically, it's going to have to be here. and I think we might need to use this upper mounting hole for it. And or I'm going to ask Ryan Harrell to extend the front of this frame a little bit. I think that might be a better idea, just to give us a little bit more real estate. Because like if you want to use a lot of up tilt, that's going to be really tough. And you're going to really have to hang a lot of this camera out from this. So I think that the front of my frame getting a little bit longer is a better idea. But in the interim, I'm tempted to just take this case off. Well, let's check this though too. Let's check the top plate fitment, because that's another problem that we run into, is that the top plate will sit in a way that you can't get enough up tilt. So with the top, oh yeah, see, so that is absolutely a problem that we're running into here. But I mean, I can always just run taller standoffs, right? So the problem is this camera is relatively tall. Actually, if I show you like this, I think it'll make more sense. So the camera is pretty tall. Look at how much of that vertical space the camera is taking up, right? And so when that happens, we can't run a lot of up tilt. Like that's kind of maxing out the up tilt. And so what we got to look at is like what's hitting. And in this case, what's hitting is the top of the back part of the frame of the camera on this rounded part here. And so one of the things that can be done is, instead of this top plate having a rounded front part, this can be like notched out. And I might actually ask Ryan to do that, like right here, just notch this inwards. And then obviously the same thing on that side, to kind of match up with this. We don't want to cut too much material off here though, because then this, the tip of my finger right now, could become a weak point, right? Like we see how the frame comes in here for a battery strap slot. Like this is here for a front battery strap slot holder. And so, but if he extends the nose a little bit, that'll give this, yeah. So when he extends the nose a little bit, that'll give us more room here. This battery strap slot will stay in the same place, but this whole front piece will extend, and that'll give us plenty of room to add a little slot. So yeah, that's going to be something that gets changed on this frame for sure. Because that shouldn't be very difficult. And it's not going to really change the performance of this thing at all. So as this sits, it's going to be pretty hard to get some up tilt and get this thing mounted correctly without taking this outer case off. So I think just for the time being, let's pull this outer case. And that will, I've learned everything that I need to learn. For right now, we'll pull this outer case. I'll see if I can use this top and bottom mounting point, because I do want to get this up in the air, and then we'll move on from there. This, I have not seen any, so this DJI 04 wide light is slightly differently shaped than the Flywoo one. So all of the 3D print files for all of these new school style frames are going to have to get changed, which is completely insane. But I mean, that's also a big part of the reason why the new style of frame is kind of ridiculous, I think, because every single time a new camera comes out, somebody has to 3D design a holder for it. My frame here just uses standoffs in the front, and then you can 3D print whatever the hell you want to hold your camera. You can do the same thing. You can design a 3D print that completely encapsulates the camera, and that'll let you push it out in front of the standoffs, or I mean, I guess you could keep it behind them. Or you can just run these simple, super lightweight little standoff loops, and yeah, that's what I suggest. But what do I know? I just work here. Okay, cool. So there are the 4 screws that hold this outer case on, and I believe it just slides backwards and off, right? You got to be a little careful of the camera wire here. Make sure that is up and out of the way. And then I believe, yep. So it just slides back to come off of here. And so let's see if Flywoo is. They are not. Not surprising that they aren't. Now is my chance to beef up this daughter board joint, and I'm not gonna miss that chance. So like, we're not gonna put this together. I learned everything that I want to learn. In this configuration, there is acres of space. Like, this will very easily fit in here like this. It even gives me more space for up tilt. So yeah, you just run a set of these loops. You would, well, fuck it, let's do it. Let's do it real quick. I think this screw might work. I don't think they use M2 screws. Is that screw gonna just fall out of there? Well, hold on. Let me see if it's M2. Let me. That'd be the easiest thing. I actually don't know. They just looked smaller than M2. No, I think it is M2. Yeah! Way to go, fellas. It is M2. Okay, cool. So I can just use these. Just real quick. Here, I'll show you. So camera plug out the top. I think what we would need to use is the top mounting point. Pretty sure, actually. And I'm just going to kind of loosely screw these in. And there's that one. Okay. And we want to go forward with it. All right. So, yeah, there we go. Okay. So with that removed and these guys going forward, you could very easily just drop these on here, and the camera is actually too narrow now. They make these standoff loops that are that have a little bit of extra material, because look, right now I'm running into an issue. They are flexible. Like, I can absolutely just pull this thing, which is what I'm gonna do real quick here, because I do want to see what happens with the up tilt. We should be completely fine with the camera like this, but I just want to take a look. There we go. So yeah, you can always just kind of force it to be a little bit wider, and so there it is. Now we got that, and we can run as much up tilt as we want. That's like 1,000,000 degrees of up tilt. So yeah, this is totally doable like this. And this frame here looks pretty strong. I would not think that that we would have any issues with the strength of this frame. I could totally be wrong, but it does look pretty stout. Although I will say, the problem that I'm running into now is that the frame of the camera is hitting the bottom plate. Can you kind of see that? Maybe you can see it on the underside there. Yeah, see how there's no gap in here between the carbon fiber and the bottom part of the frame? That's because we're using these really wide mounting screws that are really high on the top and bottom. If I went to taller standoffs, this would absolutely work. But again, we're gonna change this frame before it comes out, so you don't have to worry about that. And now we've got loads of space here. So I'm kind of trying to show you this in case you have a frame that's similar and you're wondering if it'll fit. These front standoffs are, the backs are 18s, these fronts are 23s. So this is how it fits with 23mm standoffs in the front. This could be flyable, just like this. I could absolutely fly it. Yes, the camera is hanging out in front. I don't love that. Again, that's because I'm having to use these wacky kind of mounting points. But yeah, this is nice. This is nice that this is in here with this inner part of the frame I am now going to take it out because we need to prep this 04. Anybody who has not bought an 04 light, here comes the most important part of the whole buying experience, because this is what breaks, and you don't want yours to break. DJI might be willing to fix it, but it takes months, and at times they don't fix stuff because America is terrible. And so on here, I can show you one that I've already done and one that's not done, and that should totally make sense to you. It is kind of small, though. It is a small little area. So let me try to balance these in a way. There we go. Maybe that'll work. Okay, so down there. Nope, that looks terrible. Nope. There we go. Okay, so you've got, it says Flywoo. That's a plastic cover over the old school camera. And then you've got a brown, thick PCB. And then you've got another PCB below that, and then you've got the camera cable. In between the brown PCB and that second PCB, there is a bead of E6000, but it's clear, and you can't really see it. There's also a bead on the bottom here. And the bottom you might be able to see a little bit better. So we've got the gold on the back of the main PCB, and then we've got that secondary PCB with all those little legs on it, and I think you can see it there, that little rolled off edge that's kind of catching the light to the left of the H. That's the bead of E6000. The main board and that secondary smaller daughter board love to break off from each other. And then you've got the cable, which is totally fine. DJI puts this clear shit down the bottom to the left of the H, which does like help the situation, but it's not enough because so many people have had those top boards break off. There's that clear shit on the right side of the top. There it is. There's that clear stuff. And you can see DJI obviously knows about the problem because they're not just using that clear hot glue, whatever the hell it is, to hold the camera plug on. They're gluing those two boards together as well. And so their blobs of glue are probably enough, but there's no reason to not beef this up a little bit more. Well, I guess I didn't show you the one without it, but it just doesn't have it. I don't know, maybe you can kind of see. Come on, you piece of shite. There you go. Oh, you can totally see it. There you go. That's the ticket to hold it sideways like that. So you see how there's nothing in between those two? Versus... oh, the mount kind of covers it up, but maybe you'll be able to see it. Maybe you'll be able to see it. Let's see. The mount kind of covers it up. But, yeah, it's in there. And so, that's what you need to do with the 04 light. I've been using E6000 because I love it. The problem with E6000 it's a little bit squishy, kinda. But my thinking is that since I've run the bead of E6000, the length and then the side, the length and then the side, I'm thinking that maybe it's enough to overcome its squishiness. But something like Bondic, the UV reactive glue, might be a better bet because Bondic dries hard as a rock. And so maybe I'll use Bondic on this one. Although I've been using E6000 on all the other ones and I haven't had one break yet. So the other reason why I like using E6000 is that it's removable. Bondic, like usually it's removable, but like if it goes behind those little like legs that you're seeing there and it hardens, it will not be removable. Like Bondic, when it dries hard, it's removable if it's like on the top of a surface, if it hasn't like locked in, you know, if you've got a bunch of those little legs and the Bondic squeezes in between them and it expands a little bit on the other side, it dries hard, so that ain't coming out of there, right? And so the E6000 being squishy, if that happened, you'd be able to just pull it out and it would, you know, compress and then slide through those little legs. So I'll probably just use E6000 again on this one. But yeah, that's about as far as I can go because I need to put the E6000 on and give it 24 to 48 hours to cure. So here is where I stop with this. Very cool. Flywoo included all the stuff. Everything is good. Oh, I guess I can look at the I guess I can use a 5x loop here to look at where they swapped the gyro chip out to see how clean that looks. So it should be. Oh, is it not on the back? I thought it was on the back. It must be on the inside. I'm not looking at that. Fuck that. But what I can say is nothing looks melted. Nothing looks bad. They got to use a hot air station to swap that. Oh, wait, no, this is the gyro chip, isn't it? Yeah, MP66. Yeah, it is on the back. I thought so. There is, you can see that they put a little bit of flux on here. But, boy, that's clean. You would never know that they've hit this thing with a hot air station. Wow. Yeah. That's impressive. Jesus, Flywoo. And I'm just going to compare that to this one. Yeah, so there's on the very bottom here, on the very bottom of the PCB, there's just a little stripe. The bottom part of the PCB is there's just a little stripe where you can see that there was a little bit of flux because it's shiny. But other than that, you would not know. Like if that little stripe of shininess was not there, you would have no idea that they swapped that gyro chip. That is very, very clean. Usually when you use a hot air station, the flux will like walk outwards and shit, and like you can definitely tell. That's I would never know. I would never know. Good job, Flywoo. I'm impressed. So there you go. 04 Lite with the fancy old school better gyro. We'll see how it is in there. I'll give that E6000 24 hours to cure up. I'll do it tonight, and then maybe tomorrow during the day. Maybe I won't give it 24 hours. Maybe I'll get it built tomorrow during the day because I am desperate to fly that with the wide angle. So yeah, hopefully on tomorrow night's live stream there'll be some flight footage from that guy because it was a working rig, so it should just keep working. Should. Sporny says, did some test flights today with the Box Cinewhoop with 75% motor limit and slow cruising, 30 to 40% throttle. We actually get cold batteries. There it is. I knew it. I knew that KV was the biggest part of the problem. So yeah, if you guys weren't here on today's Sunday, Friday's live stream, Sporny had a build, 2.5-inch build with... They're either 1504 or 1405 motors, either or. Big-ass motors for a 2.5-inch prop. But the size of the motors wasn't the problem. The KV of the motors was the problem. They were 5,500 KV on a 5,500 KV on 4S with a 3-blade 2.5-inch prop is okay. It's going to be really powerful, but it's okay. Sporny was trying to do it on a 5-blade 2.5-inch prop, and that's just too much. There is a point where even like reducing the PID loop, there is a point with a motor and prop combo where it's going to create so much power that you're going to have to really cripple the PID loop to be able to get it flyable, because like basically you've built a mechanical system, the prop, the motor, the battery voltage, that is really overpowered and has really quick response time to speed up and slow down the motor. When you move the PIDs up, it artificially boosts that response time, is one way of thinking about it. And so if your mechanical system has a crazy fast response time, and then you're running like normal PIDs, it's not going to work. you're going to have to pull the PIDs down. You would have to run the PIDs down at like 0.7, 0.8, 0.6. Or you can use the motor limiting. That is the one beautiful thing about motor limiting, is that it pulls down the max amount of throttle and the PIDs. And so instead of having to cripple the PIDs, you can just run motor limiting to see if that combo will work. And now on a 75% motor limit, all's right with the world. And so that is a totally valid troubleshoot right there. Like, if you have a rig and you build it and you know that you put together a drivetrain that's really powerful and you put it up in the air on stock PIDs and it's freaking out, it's oscillating, it's trying to fly away, a beautiful troubleshooting step is to land, go into your OSD, and turn the motor limiting down to 80% or 70% and just put it right back up in the air. Like, that is a really fast way of figuring out whether or not that could be the whole problem or at least part of the problem. And so, yeah, that's pretty awesome that's going. And then once you've so here's the end of that I almost forgot. You motor limit it down to 80% or 70%. You fly it around. If it still feels like it has good power, you've absolutely isolated that you've got a drivetrain that's got too much power, right? Because, like, if it was a vibration problem and then you motor limited it down 70 to 80% and it doesn't have good power, well, you know, now you know that your KV and your motor size are decent. That's one of the really nice things about being able to just pull RPM out of these things with the motor limiting, is that it really helps you to kind of dial that stuff in. So yeah, really, really cool. Love that, man. Uriel says, if you put print on stand, which hole hits first? Flip them over to front. I'm assuming Uriel asked that when we were still screwing around. We figured it out, though. Dan and FPV with a $4.20 weed number, not cent, $4.20, I think it would be, right? Nope, not $4, £4.20 super chat. The weed number, but in British currency. He says, can I fly my stim instead of 6 batteries today? For today only, yes. But any other live stream, any other day, you gotta fly for real. Unless everything's broken. If everything's broken, or it's raining or something, and you don't have an indoor rig, then the sim is fine. But fly for real, friends. Fly for real. It's better than the sim, I promise. Okay. Just for the sake of looking at them, because they're sitting here, here is the extremely wasteful way of packaging ND filters. They don't sell the whole kit. I mean, what is nice is that I can just take one of these and drop them all into it. Although, actually, I gotta kind of pay attention, because the Flywoo 04 wide is slightly different. Oh, they made it even harder. Oh, Flywoo, why did you do this? Okay, so, by the way, I am looking for the old... This is so annoying. This is so annoying. I am in need of the old school Flywoo... The old school Flywoo 04 light wide filters. Before the DJI new ones. And this is why I keep laughing, is that I have to be careful. I have to put this, I have to keep this one here. What they should have done on the back of these is they should have put, so this one, this is for the old school Flywoo 04 wide, which makes sense. Flywoo 04 wide ND filter. Awesome. That's what the old school one was called. It was called Flywoo 04 wide. The new one, let's see if they put it on the box. They did. The new one is called Flywoo DJI 04 wide. Why the hell On the ND filter for the new one, did they not put Flywoo DJI 04 wide? They just put this stupid V2 in here. Because they are not cross-compatible. The DJI one is slightly bigger, which is why I think that DJI worked with RunCam on it. Because if they'd worked with Flywoo on it... But what's weird is the cases look the same. Oh, why? So I have a Flywoo old school 04 wide light that I managed to get this one ND32 for, which I will never use because ND32 is only for bright sunlight in the snow. So I will never use this, but it was the only one of these that were in stock because they've now apparently discontinued these. But I need an ND8. I'm desperate for an old school Flywoo light wide ND8 filter, and they're not in stock anywhere. No, I lied. Off-axis, they're in stock at the place in Canada that Off-axis very kindly ordered them from, so never mind. I'm not desperate for them. I would love to have an extra one, though, because ND filters tend to just explode. And so, yeah, if anybody does have an old school... I'm not going to say it again. Hopefully you know what I'm saying. ND8 is what I'm looking for, because ND8 is what we always use. But yeah, Rotorama in California, great. Canada, great. Canada had the full kit, the ND4, 8, and 16, or it might be 8, 16, 32. But yeah, I have one of those coming, and now I know that I can't get them anymore, so I will hot glue the ND filters on. For if you ever have an ND filter that there's any chance of it popping off, it will absolutely pop off, and then it'll explode. Keep a hot glue stick in your bag and a lighter. And when you put an ND filter on, you use the lighter on the tip of the hot glue stick, and then you just push that molten hot glue into anywhere between the ND filter and the camera, and then it won't fall off. Very annoying, but totally worth the effort. And so I need to keep this one separate from these two. But these two I can combine because I got an ND8 and I got an ND16, which is all you ever really need. And so I can take these two and I can just dig the foam out here. Yeah. Dig a little chunk of the foam out. And there we have it. Get in there. Try not to get fingerprints on it. It's inevitable, but... Hey! Much better. I should have gotten two more. I should have gotten one more of each of these but I was being a cheapskate. And I'll probably have to order from Flywoo again because I'm sure that this thing will be awesome. So there you have it. I created a huge mess. Let me just mash this mess into this box here. I will clean it up after the stream. And we're going to fly a little bit because it is probably coming up on 5 o'clock. Yeah, it's 4:35. So yeah, I'm going to fly the backyard live. What do you think about that? You don't care? It's okay. I'll get over it. Sodite. We're going to fly this little guy. This is a Air 65 Champion V2 frame. Weebleed 0702 40,000 kV motors. The HQ 1.2 by 1.2 by 2 biblades. The new Air 65 V2 Matrix AIO. The camera is a CO3. The Air 65 V2 canopy. And one of my custom length ORT micro V's with the extra shrink wrap to make them extra durable. And then we're I do have a 480 mAh battery charged, we will run a 1S 75mm rig as well. And that is going to be this. This is a Air 75 V2 frame. The Gep RC 1002 25,000 kV motors, Gemfan 1610 biblades. One of my antennas, same camera, same canopy, same AIO, actually. So, yeah, these builds are very similar. Same canopy, same camera, same antenna, same AIO. Obviously different motors because 1.6-inch props and 1.2-inch props. But other than that, these two builds are very, very, very similar. And they've both been a complete pain in the ass to tune because the front mounting point is missing from these otherwise amazing Beta FPV AIOs. Don't really know if I can recommend these AIOs with what a pain in the ass they've been to tune if you're going to run powerful motors. If you're not going to run powerful motors, you'll be fine. But with gnarly motors, these are both a little rough to live with and to get dialed in just right. Lose a battery? Nah. We're going to fly the 65 first because I've got... no, we're going to fly the 75 first because I've got a bunch of batteries charged for the 65. So we'll get the 75 out of the way. This is about as powerful as you can build one of these 1S 1.6-inch prop tiny whoops. These Gep RC motors are pretty nuts. All right, so I gotta go drop this outside, and the ground is lava. I'm gonna try really hard to not crash. And you all have to tell me how the video reception is, because I'm flying through my goggles. The video receiver is on the ceiling that feeds into the live stream. So yeah, let me know how it is. Here we go. Okay. Apparently this thing is still not tuned quite right because it's trying to fly away. Well, yep, there it goes, trying to fly away again. Absolute nightmare. Oh, it's flying away again. Seems to be okay at 0 throttle. Again, this is these motors are really powerful. Like, oh, for fuck's sake. Great spot to crash, though. Perfect spot to crash. Like, look how much power these motors have. Ready? Crazy. Crazy, 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 crazy. Oh, it's getting hot. Let's just chill for a second. Now we're good. Oh my god, why did I do that? I just rocketed right up into the tree. This thing's flying really weird, right? What's it? It's in fucking angle mode. How did I not notice that? Jesus. Wow, look at all the jello. Jesus. Woo-hoo-hoo. Ground is lava, but we can still get close to it. Yeah, this tune is a mess right now. What happened to this thing? Why is the tune so bad all of a sudden? It wasn't this bad the other day, I didn't think. Whoa, okay! Please don't tumble all the way down the hill. Yeah. Wow, it tumbled a ways though, didn't it? Uh-oh. Shoot it! Kaboot it! Oh god, why? The ground is lava. Let me try a bunch of super precise flying. Wow, yeah, more work to be done on that tune. That is a mess. What a pain in the ass this thing. Both of these rigs on these goddamn AIOs. It's so great that they're 12 amp AIOs and they're really light, but boy. It is That's pretty rough. Having to spend this much time and effort to get these dialed in. But again, it is like making a lot of power. I'm probably gonna swap this frame out, man. Like, as much as I love this frame because it's got these really skinny ducts and it makes this really fly great outside, these issues are a bit much, man. And a part of the issue is that this is the floppiest fucking frame. I shouldn't say the floppiest. The Newbie Drone Lite AF 75 frame is even floppier. But like compared to the Mobula 7 V4 frame, this is an absolute wet noodle. And this frame is causing the problem. When I was testing this on a live stream, we ran this configuration in 3 different frames. The Lite AF 75 was the worst. This was the second worst. And then the Mobula 7 V4 was way better than this. But the Mobula 7 V4 has like ducts that are twice the thickness. And that makes it not slide around as much outside. And it's more fun when they're more slidey outside. So, yeah. But the tuning issues are just ridiculous. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll take like one more go at dialing the tune in for that. All right, here's the 65. Here's your 1.6 versus 1.2 inch prop comparison. All right. How did it look? Were you guys getting a lot of static? Should be good. I mean, I'm sitting pretty close to where the receiver that feeds into the stream is. So it should be pretty much what I'm seeing. So at the top of the throttle, there's just like less, but there's still enough. Like this is still got a bunch of power. Oh, it's getting a little staticky now though. What's happening there? As a comparison point, here's that little test I did with the other one. I mean, it's got jam, bro. It's got mad jam. Woo! I am getting static when I go up high. Oh boy, I don't think I was getting static like that on the other one. But I bet you this is set to 25 million watts. That's totally what that means. Let's go into the OSD features, VTX. Yeah, this is set to 25. So let's kick this up to 100. That'll make a massive difference. Oh yeah, way better. Way, way, way better. Okay, cool. Get you some! I almost hit that pole. All the way down Kokomo. Kokomo! Here we go. We're having fun. Oh, God! Where did that branch come from? That wasn't there the other day, was it? What the hell? It's this. I really want to get rid of this branch. This branch is killing me here. I hate you. I hate you. And then this one here is just as bad. But I'm afraid that I can't reach this. That's where I need to cut. Right there. But boy, is that far from the ground. Look how far down that is. I don't know if we'll be able to get one of those saws on a stick up that high. Patrick has one. I'm going to browbeat him into coming over and bringing it with him. But I don't know. I don't know if that's so high, dude. Like, for example, this is 6 feet. They cut this kudzu 6 feet. So that's 6 feet there. So, like, 6, 12, 18. That's like over 20 feet up there. That's, I don't know. All right, let's swap this battery out. Hey, let's just crash. Great. Oh, I should have brought a battery over here with me. I need a, you know what I need? Somebody needs to invent a Tiny Whoop doggy door. so that I can smash it really hard into the doggy door to come in and out. You know what I'm saying? Or, I mean, I guess it could be automated, but, like, everything automated sucks. Alright. Let's do one more outside, and then maybe we'll fly one inside, or maybe we'll just wrap things up. Oh, no, we still got time. It's only 4:46. Oh! Did that fix it? Of course not. There we go. Now we're talking. Hey. Okay. I'm back. Here we go. All right. A little bit more, 1.2 inch and outside. Oh! Oh my god! Look at the throw, dude! Fucking, we bleed 40,000. We'll do it one more time. Ready? Here we go. Oh! It's just ridiculous! It's such an outrageous amount of power. Like, yeah, there are tiny whoop motors with more power than this, but like, what is wrong with you? You don't need more than this. And you get really good efficiency with these motors. Ooh! Ooh! Oh! How you like me now? Let me just focus for a second here. Oh! I had something cool planned. And it didn't work out. I gotta run on this. What can I do through here? Can I do a little front flip through here? All right, let's crash this thing. Ready? I'm gonna have to go out and get it. I'm calling it right now. But watch this. Watch how cool this is. Oh, that's not as cool as I thought because you can't even see what's going on. I gotta do it the other way. I gotta do it like this. Nope, you really can't see what's going on. Oh well, that looked cooler in my head. No, no, no! Hey! Don't! No, no. Man, the direction changes of the 65, though, are like cheating. Yeah, let's spend our time shooting that gap instead of playing with the incredible trees. I tried to do it as a little split S. All right, this battery's done. Cool. I'm going to stop flying outside there because inevitably I will crash it and have to just walk away from the live stream for 5 minutes falling down the hill. We're going to do one more battery inside though. No, we'll do two more. I'll fly 5, you fly 6, friends. 6 is the right number. 6 is the loneliest number. Don't sing on the live stream when you're bad at singing. I'm not going to fly this inside the house, though, because this is specifically for outdoor. Well, fuck it. I'll fly this inside, and then I'll fly one that's meant for inside to show you the difference between custom building one of these for indoor use and outdoor use. All right? So it looked fine outside, right? It wasn't, like, too powerful. It was good. Everything was fun. We had a blast. Now we're going to try to have fun flying it inside. But we're not going to have fun because the fucking Fat Shark goggles are going to just goddamn beep for no reason. I can't wait for these goddamn Fat Shark batteries to die all the way. It's absolutely insane that I continue to use them. It's just because you can charge them from USB. It's so nice to just plug USB into this goggle battery and have it charge. Here you go. Outdoor 1.2-inch tiny whoop. Indoors. So for that was very fun. Because it had good power and good throw. But everything else, okay, thanks for making my point. Everything else indoors is really hard because this thing has too much power and it's too slidey. Oh, Teddy! He got nothing. He don't want anything to do with it. He saw it flying outside. He's like, that thing gonna hurt me. Oh, God. Oh, God. See that slidiness there? See that? Fucker. Oh! Yeah, it's too much. It's too fast. It's too slidey. Great for outside. Or a warehouse. But for a house, even a fairly big house like this one, it's too much. Woo! I got away with murder on that. Yeah, see how I'm also like I'm bouncing up towards the ceiling? It is overpowered. Oh my god. Oh! No. Hey! Jesus. Ah! Teddy boy, how are you? Fine gentleman. Oh. It doesn't want to go straight like that slidiness. It doesn't want to dig in. So if I set it up perfectly on the way up to the gap, I'm good. But if I have to make any kind of an adjustment on my way to the gap, it doesn't have enough grip to want to continue going straight. And so there is an outdoor rig being flown inside. Here comes an indoor specific rig. Last battery. Where are all the tiny whoops? Indestructible time. Another set of 40,000 kV motors. But GemFan 1219S. No, we're not going to do the indestructible. We're going to do the regular old 40,000 kV indoor setup. Yeah, this is the closest comparison point. The two big changes here, the three big changes here, are we've gone from the HQ 1.2 by 1.2 by 2 bi-blades on this, and we're going to the 1.2 by 0.9 by 3 tri-blades. Same 40,000 kV motors, different AIO. This is a crazy G473 AIO, just like the 2G4. It's an AIO that's going to be a breeze to tune. No black box, I don't think. No black box on the 2G4. Maybe black box on the crazy G473. And then the other big change is the frame. This is the Cockroach 65 V3 frame. The thickness of the ducts has everything to do with how different this thing flies. That is the big difference. This is also a different camera. Now we're going to a Runcam Nano 3 and a different canopy. But basically, if you look at the aerodynamics of these two, they are completely different. Head on, it's not that different, but it is different. Sideways, it is mega different. The air is going to flow right through this canopy. This canopy is going to catch the air, and you can really see the difference in thickness between the ducts. Just think about you're flying straight, and then you turn. which one of these is going to dig in on its own. Which one are you going to have to go like this to stop it from turning and then drive, right? This will dig in on its own and just track a straighter line. It also makes it slower. It just naturally flies slower inside, and that's what we want. You don't want to be hauling ass inside unless you're racing. And if you're racing, you're probably not hanging out here, because I don't know anything about racing. Still great response time. The tune actually feels a lot better on this. And it still moves. Like, I can still put the nose down, and this thing will go screaming across the room. But then, when I slow it down here, I can fly face first into the newbie drone gate for absolutely no reason. Get it upstairs. It'll still do the big old power loops. But it does them with more float and more hang time. Because it's less aerodynamic. It's not just like hurtling across the room. Oh my god. This is weird. I'm confused. I don't know what's up and what's down. Oh god! Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, it won't take off. Teddy, save me. Oh no. I think it threw a propeller. Yes. I do not recommend doing this. This is very stupid. This is so stupid. I have to walk over there no matter what. All right, well, I ran that down pretty good. We'll call it there. I don't feel like digging another prop out, drilling it, all that shit. There you go. Hopefully you can see a difference. On the sticks, you can absolutely feel it. Like, there is absolutely a difference when you swap these frames. So, make sure you have a couple Cockroach V3 frames in your life. God forbid they ever get discontinued. You don't want to get stuck with that one. They are magic. And there's no telling if Newbie Drone will ever make another frame that's thick like that, because freestyle is the big, freestyle and like flying outside a lot of times sell. And the Cockroach V3 frame, I'm sorry, not freestyle, racing, I meant to say. Racing and flying outside are what a lot of people are looking for. And the skinny duct frame does that really, really well. Us freestyle people are weirdos. And so, yeah, next time you're ordering from a website that sells the Cockroach V3 frame, order yourself a bunch. They're hysterically durable, so if you order like 3 of them, you'll probably have enough for the rest of your life. So, yeah. Let me get caught up on the chat. Uriel says, Eej, that's good tip for a sloth. Sporny says, I need more charging capabilities. Would you either buy 2 chargers with 4 channels for 90 each, or buy 1 with 8 for 160? 2 for 90, hands down. Having multiple chargers is really, really nice. You can set one charger to 2S, one to 3S. You can bring one charger with you, leave the other one at home. Yeah, 2 chargers, absolutely always better than 1. If one charger fails, you're not assed out. Yeah, 2 smaller chargers is awesome. You can have like one discharging, the other one charging. It's really, really nice to have 2 totally separate chargers. A lot of times on the multi-channel chargers, you can do that same shit. Make one channel do one thing, one channel do another thing. Not always, though. Some of them you can't. It's just going to get way more confusing. And 8 ports on one charger, that's going to be a bit much. 2 with 4, I can almost guarantee you're going to like a lot better. Yuke says, just finished mowing the backyard. Time to fly some batteries before the rain rolls in later. Supposed to rain all week, too. That sucks. Uriel says, for everyday carry, I have wire cutter. It works. It's a wire with cutters. FizzPV says, small RFID that opens the doggy door automatically by proximity. That would be really cool. Yuke says, even cooler would be to set it up on a lap timer. The lap timers, the FPV racing lap timers detect RF with proximity, and so I bet you could set up one of those lap timers, put it on the door, and then when it gets a strong 5.8 signal, it would open. But I'm not going to do any automation like that. That's crazy. Yuke says, yeah, I love the 65 with 40,000 kV motors outside. Den says, dude, this red 65 millimeter rig rips. Would you pick Weebleed 40,000 kV motors over the Beta FPV 38,000 Championship Edition? I would, because the Beta FPV Champion Edition motors are way too much. They will demolish your batteries, and these 40s are plenty, and these 40s are relatively efficient for what they are. If you look up the Tiny Whoop motor testing that Rosser did, the Happy Model motors were absolute kings when it comes to efficiency. And like, I usually don't care too much about efficiency, but with these mega high kV Tiny Whoop motors, it does matter, because with those Beta FPV Champions, with the RC and Power 29,000 and 32,000, whatever the hell they are, you're gonna just destroy all your batteries, and you're gonna get like 10 charge cycles out of your batteries before they're just hammered ass. And that's just stupid. And it's also like too much power. Like, that, I don't want more power than what I just had. That's plenty. If I had a little bit less power, I'd be okay. So yeah, the Weebleed 40s are real good power, and as good as you're gonna get in terms of efficiency when you're doing a big power setup. And you can get them in 1.5 millimeter motor shaft, which, if you start crashing real hard, will definitely matter. The prop selection there is not great, but it's also not terrible. We've now got the Gemfan 1219S's in 1.5 mil motor shaft, which are a great prop. They're not the best prop, but they're great. And you've also got the Gemfan 1210 biblades in 1.5 millimeter prop, which is a good prop. Not a great prop, not the best prop, but a good prop. And if you want a biblade, it's a great option for you. So yeah, those Beta FPV 38,000 kV motors are for hardcore racers only. They make so much power that they're like basically hard to fly. I've never flown them, but I have flown the RC and Power 29,000s, which were previously the most powerful motors, and they were legitimately hard to fly. And so the new RC and Powers and these 38 Champion Betas will be even harder to fly. And yeah, like, that's fun for like 20 minutes, and then you're like, okay, this thing's impossible to fly. What do I do now? Ryan says, did I just see an inverted yaw spin indoors? Kinda, but not really. I mean, that's what I was going. I tried it twice. I don't know. It looks terrible. Like, It's funny, you say, like, did I just see? You can't even fucking tell. Because to do those inside, you can't even tell what the hell it is. It's just fucking chaos, and then, like, maybe you don't crash. Which is why I don't do that move. The inverted yaw spin, like, outdoors with enough float time, sometimes it looks kind of cool, although, like, I don't know, it's also kind of played out. Like, it's been around forever, and, like, I don't know. But yeah, indoors it's just stupid. Indoors it's just you're just doing stick motions. The actual video coming through looks horrible because there's no frame of reference. Everything is just whizzing by on the screen in random different directions. And like, you know, anyone other than a pretty hardcore FPV pilot is going to be like, "Ooh, what the fuck was that? Don't do that again." And so, yeah, I don't typically do those, but every once in a while I do stupid stuff. Sporny says the 8-port is from Tattoo. I think I know what charger that is. I think that's their drone soccer charger. But I mostly worry about redundancy. If one breaks, I still got the other. Yep. I have two. When I was figuring out how to charge batteries at gigs that I'm flying to, I thought a lot about it and realized that like 2 chargers would probably be a lot better. From not just from like a redundancy standpoint, but even like packing them in my bag. Like one giant charger takes up one giant space. 2 chargers that are half that size, maybe it makes sense for me to put one over here and one over there. You can't do that with one giant charger. And so yeah, I went with 2 individual chargers, and I fucking love it. I really like. I wish that I hadn't bought the giant ISDT P30. I wish that I'd gotten 2 smaller chargers, but it's fine because I can use these little travel chargers. I try not to because I want to keep you know, the time off of them. I want them to live forever, so I only use them when I absolutely have to. But yeah, the having 2 charger thing is the way to go. It's real nice. More Love says, do you have top 5 FPV moments? Oh my god, what a good question, dude. Or dudette. Oh, what a good question. 4th of July fireworks. 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago. This was Maggie and I's 5th anniversary, and I had not met her when I flew this. And so, wow, it's crazy how long ago this was. Jesus, where the hell is it? Yeah, 5 years ago. 5+ years ago. This for sure. Jesus, why can't I click anything? What the fuck? This was just awesome. I had 2 spotters. It was just awesome. That was just an amazing moment. Let me try to anchor a couple of these in edits at least. It'll also help me kind of remember some stuff. What else? Flying Los Cabos in Mexico, that was pretty special. I don't have my own edit of this, but the guy that hired me to come fly this, and so I can't really play this because it'll get copyright donged, but like, yeah, flying in a different country, and just this resort that I was flying was absolutely ridiculous. I mean, like, yeah, just look at this place. So that this is probably up. Yeah, look at that. So this is probably one of them. Maybe like the first time the first rampage I went to, and the first time I flew that site, that was pretty gnarly. That place is just absurd. Ooh, lockdown flying. There wasn't one specific scenario because we flew a bunch of spots, but flying downtown Atlanta during pandemic lockdown was gnarly. For so many reasons. Here comes a link. This is one of the better flights at a building that I'd been meaning to fly for a while. But yeah, this entire day of flying was just unbelievable because it was just empty. Like downtown Atlanta was completely empty. It was quiet. No security, no nothing. We flew spots that like we'll never be able to fly again because there's always people around with 5-inch rigs. So yeah, that was pretty awesome. I mean, there's a bunch of cinematic gig moments that would be up there as well, but it's hard to remember them because they all kind of blur together with all these hip hop R&B music videos that I've worked on. I think maybe the highlight of those would be it would either be Masego driving in this Lexus and me doing like a 30-story building dive and then like linking up with it and getting it pretty clean, or Blanco Brown and T.I. in the back of a lifted pickup truck with a fucking ghetto blaster, and me just like him having no fear whatsoever and me just like pulling it right up to him, backing it out, like whizzing around him. That was pretty gnarly. When I first met Maggie, she came with me on a gig to Asheville, and the gig was flying. Patrons, you have this in the Patreon unlisted playlist, but I don't think I ever put that up because I was under NDA for it. But I could probably find it on their YouTube if I can remember the goddamn name. What was the name of the landscaping company? It was a one take. It was a full battery one take with a dozen or so actors, and the way that we did it. So James from James, the guy that filmed and directed and edited Flow State, he brought me up there to fly it. And what we did is, mainly him, the actors had 3 sets of marks. And so we set the fly-through up so that the actors, all 12 of them could be in one spot, and I fly through there. And then they move while I'm like around back the building. And then I come back through here, and then they're there. And then I keep going, and then they move again, and they're there. So it looked like there were 36 actors there, but there were actually only like 12 or so. And yeah, I don't have a public edit of that. That's 4, I think. Is there one more? What's one more? Oh, that's an easy one. Chasing T-Pain. When at his very first time drifting. Where the hell is it? What? Is it not up here? Oh, there it is. Pain train coming your way. You can't stop him. Yeah. Super. Because I then got to go talk to him for a half an hour, and it was super cool. And then we exchanged text messages. It's like a year. We don't anymore. He is so busy, and I'm sure I've been pushed way down to the bottom of his list of unreads. But yeah, this is pretty cool. Just like knowing who it was, like the pressure of like don't hit him and don't hit his car. But yeah, and I had like just started to get, this was my 3rd time chasing drift cars, so like I just started to kind of get good enough. Yeah, somewhere in there would also probably be chasing the RC drift cars, but like there wasn't like one specific moment. Like um the whole experience of chasing the RC drift cars is up there for sure. But there's not like one specific uh situation, you know, that I can like point you at. Uh and I'm sure that I'm missing one. Oh, flying Atlanta Pride every year is a massive, massive, massive deal for me. Um, it's just the greatest group of people that gets treated horrible, and they just give a big middle finger to it, and they just will not stop living joyfully and loving each other, and it's just like they're like, it's just great. Like I did it the first year for nothing, which I never do, and then they hired me to do it the next 2 years. Yeah. And every single year that I do it, at some point I end up crying in the goggles because I see something. I see like a person that it's just, it's a very overwhelming thing, in general. And then like I'll always see something that like just triggers me, and I'll just get kind of like weepy in the goggles. It's just it's something that means so much to so many people, and these are some of the greatest people on earth. You know, like a lot of the greatest people are the people that have lived through some of the hardest shit. And to be in the LGBTQ community, you've no matter what, you've lived through some hard shit. Hopefully that's just the government treating you like shit, but usually it's other human beings treating you like shit, for many years of your life. You know, I'm a straight white guy, but I'm skinny, and apparently being skinny means that you must be gay. And so in my life, I've gotten 1% of the experience that someone who has actually been born either, you know, with a brain that either is attracted to their same sex, or in some cases, people that have been born with a brain that expresses itself with one gender and their body expresses itself in a different gender. And like the pain and struggle of living like that for your entire life is mind-blowing. And so being around all like an entire community of people that have had that shared living experience is something very unique and very special. And they are just, you know, they are people that have lived through that, and it just like inherently makes them some of the greatest people on earth. Like more than half of like my best friends ever are in that world, and I didn't do that on purpose. It's not like I was like, oh, someday I wasn't like, you know what, I'm gonna just only make friends with gay people. Like that's just sort of how it happened. Like the people that were super cool and stuck around, that I wanted to keep around and wanted to keep me around, just happened to be like that. And so yeah, that's always like a really important thing to me. And it's not just important, but it's just like a magic gathering of, it's Magic the Gathering. Oh, I'm forgetting a somewhat important one. If you go all the way back here, this was obviously a pretty magical set of moments. This is Joshua Bardwell's edit of The Thing, and then this is my edit of The Thing. Yeah, 8 years ago. This is up there for sure. It's just been so long. And then there was another one that just flashed before me. What the hell was it? Oh, god damn it. First time I ever chased drift cars here, Drift and Collide. Or no, I'm sorry. No, Drift and Collide. This is the Myrtle Beach edit. This was pretty. Yeah, this is up there for sure as well. Yeah, there you go. There's 7. Great question, dude. Sporny says SkyRC Q100 Neo is the other I'm looking at. I don't know anything about that. Whenever I need charger suggestions, I go to Joshua's website. He's got a great charger section. And it's never steered me wrong. The P30 is in there, and that's my big ass charger. That's been awesome. The power supply from his, that's been awesome. It just recently died, but it lasted a long time, and it died because I turned the charger up too high. Dan and FPV says, I really admire how you do your dolphin dives. What's a dolphin dive? Or I should say cube ejects. This type of pushing off movement overall. What is your approach for doing them properly? I think I know what you mean. I think you mean basically like flying up to something and then either going straight up or sometimes backwards a little bit, full throttle, and then you snap pitch forward. And so if you do it straight up, it's really cool. Like the whole world like increases in size and then shrinks. You can drive back down. If you do it backwards, you can kind of use it as a easy like get out of jail free card. If you make a mistake and you're going to hit something, you can and make it look like you did it on purpose. That is something that I stole from Kebab of FPV Cycle. He used to do those. He would do them typically straight up. He's from Hollywood, and so they have lots of palm trees, really tall palm trees. And so he would kind of come up to a palm tree, get some upward momentum, and then pitch forward. That led me down a rabbit hole of, oh my God, everything pitch forward looks cool. And that led to like more of a focus on Matty flips and just anything and everything that I can do using pitch forward, rather than pitch back, right? Pitch back, you look at the sky and it's not as cool. Pitch forward, you look down at the ground. And so there's all kinds of scenarios where pitch forward looks really neat and lets you kind of like shift gravity and or the world. It's one of these moves that like you just to make it look really good, you got to sort of like min max it. You got to get as close to the thing as you realistically can. You've got to kind of pull up at the last second. You've got to hammer the throttle all at once. Like you don't want to like lean into the throttle. You want to get on the throttle as quickly as possible, because what you're trying to do is kind of like hide. The best way to do it, I think, is to kind of hide it, right? So like you're flying towards it. You start to pitch back as soon as you possibly can, which is going to be somewhere around here, right? You got to remember you have all this forward momentum. So you can't go here and go full throttle because you won't kill that forward momentum. So you got to wait. And then when you get to the right point, you hammer full throttle to get you going up as much as possible, but to eat that momentum. By this point, you've got up tilt, right? My finger is the up tilt of the camera, right? And so you're coming in, you're looking at the object, right? Level finger, you start to pull back. By the time like here, you're kind of like looking up. And so you can hammer the throttle and not a lot will change, especially if you're looking up at the sky, right? Nothing changes. And so you can hide this whole hit of throttle. And so if you're doing it in clear air, you wait until you have full sky and then you hammer it. And depending on how much forward momentum, you might be able to get it to where you just perfectly go straight up. And that's where I really like it. I really like it to get it perfect so I go straight up. And that's just a lot of practice. But even if you don't, and you don't know until you snap it forward. But once you snap it forward at the end there, you'll know if you got it straight up or if you're going backwards or if you're even going forwards a little bit too much. And then it's a throttle chop and a hard pitch forward at the exact same time. You don't drag the throttle. You don't cut the throttle early. We used to, back when the flight firmware was kind of shitty, we used to always do a stick input on the right side when we would chop the throttle, because otherwise it would bobble. We back when we didn't have anti-gravity. Whenever you would chop the throttle, it would bobble and it would look like shit. So we all started to chop the throttle, pitch forward, chop the throttle, pitch back, chop the throttle, roll right, chop the throttle, roll left. Just pick one. And so this was a part of that. This was a way of covering up the wobble. Nowadays, the Andy's gravity works so well, and just the flight software in general is so good that you can sometimes, if you have the center of gravity set properly, you can chop the throttle without any wobble. But like when you chop the throttle, like nothing happens. So a lot of times you want to put a stick input in anyway, because otherwise, like you were just full throttle and like kind of not a whole lot's happening, and then you chop the throttle and you're just like, it just kind of looks silly sometimes. But yeah, so it's like pitch back, like you're going to maintain throttle and pitch back, hammer the shit out of it, and then chop it and pitch forward. And so it's like, it's like this on the sticks. And the pitch forward is almost always going to be 180 degrees, but not quite. And so that's another just lots of practice kind of thing. You just keep doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it, and you'll figure out the timing for it. And then once you get that timing right, you chop that out, and then resist the urge to do anything. Like that's the part that I think a lot of people screw up, is they do this and they get this really cool moment, but then they get antsy and they got to do something else. You got to fucking chill. What tends to make my flying look different than most is that I know when to chill, and you want to chill more often than you think you should. FPV is so fucking manic and it's so nuts and high energy that most people fall into the trap of just wanting to do too much, like constantly moving the sticks around. And you'll notice when anybody that's not hardcore FPV watches that flight footage, about 30 seconds in, they're like done, man. They're just spent. Like they've never seen anything that has so much action on top of it, and it's completely over on top of itself, and it's totally overwhelming. You have to let it breathe, and that's one of those moves that you can really let it breathe. It's going to be nuts because you're going to be flying towards something. You're going to go full throttle. You're going to snap, and it's like all this chaos, and then just fucking stop. Don't touch anything. If you're going to touch something, touch the throttle. If you get it perfectly straight up, don't touch a goddamn thing. Just leave it all the way to the ground and then catch it. If you're going backwards, you can hit the throttle when you hit the apex to trace the same line. You've come up, you've given yourself that backwards momentum, you got this really cool moment, and if you don't touch the throttle, it's going to go like that. And that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And so when you come up here at the apex, you give it just a little hit of throttle, and it's a rewind, and you just try to trace that same path. And what's really cool is if you get it right, you just fucking leave it and you let it fall all the way to the ground, because it's one big thing that you're doing. You're doing this one big moment, and so you don't need to like just hit that corner and then like start going. Nope, just fucking let it go. Let it hang all the way to the ground. Give your viewer like 2 whole seconds to just fucking relax, and then you can start wiggling around and make them go like this at your flight footage again. But yeah, it's a really, 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 and the visuals of it are incredibly interesting, because it's not often that you can take a camera and send it straight up while it's looking down or back, right? Like it's a very interesting camera movement that like most people have never seen again and will never see again. And so like let that camera movement do the work. Like you don't have to work as hard. What's funny is you have to work really hard. It's really hard to do. And so like all the work is on the front end. You can't fix this move. A lot of FPV camera movements are like that. But this one in particular, like if you get it wrong, it's wrong. You just do it again. All the work is done in that initial throttle hit, and then in that chop, and then that's it. Like yeah, if you're fading backwards, you got a little moment, but like you can wind up for it, and you wait, boom. All the work is sort of on the front end, and if you get it right, it's just the most satisfying shit ever. More love, enjoys flying Air 75-2 and custom builds with Lava 320. Love it. Yuke says, what's this about Andy's gravity? It's my shrimp wrap, but for anti-gravity. Portal Zen says, "Hey guys, have you seen Nick Burns' Whoop coming video? We talked about it at the very beginning. I haven't seen the video, but a couple people told me what it's about. I have absolutely no idea." Uriel says, "I think he does not give a shit about Scratch. Cool feed. Okay." Yeah. Dan says, "Appreciate you, man." And oh, More Love also says, "Have you tried this on 75 in a jungle gym?" Are you asking if I've tried a 75 millimeter rig? If you're asking if I've tried a 75 millimeter rig on little stick 300, 320 mAh batteries, I have, yeah, quite a bit. Probably 2-ish years ago, when I really went hard on trying to make 75 millimeter rigs work inside at jungle gyms in tight spaces. One of the big things I tried was to bring the weight down. They used to make a really cool little foam insert that you could put into the bigger battery trays to make them work with these little guys. And so I used that. The foam insert adds like practically no weight. And I was able to save a little bit of weight with these over the bigger batteries, but it didn't make enough of a difference. 65, if you want to fly incredibly tight spaces like indoors or like jungle gyms, really, 1.2 inch prop 65 millimeter motor to motor rigs are absolutely the way to go. The only problem at jungle gyms is if it's windy, they're going to get crushed. The 75 millimeter rigs will be a little bit better, but the sacrifice is that they're heavier. And so, yeah, for incredibly tight spaces, it's all about the lightest possible weight, and that's what these are. Luckily, you know, these have been developed so hard that we have great motors, great propellers, great batteries for them. But yeah, CiottiFPV.com to support me. I do need your help. It is become kind of impossible to do this as a full-time job. I am unfortunately having to look for a real job again. But who knows? If I can somehow manage to lock down some flying gigs, I can continue to do this. And so if you want to be a part of that, or just in general, if you want to like support me, the more, you know, the more we build this up, the more stuff I can test, the more shit I can tell you to not buy and or buy. Yeah. CiottiFPV.com, friends. Click it, click some buttons, and we'll hang out together forever. Lots of benefits to joining the Patreon. That's the best way to support me. But there's a bunch of other stuff on there. Do something, do anything, click thumbs up, leave a comment, and we'll keep hanging out. If I end up getting a job, I will try to do this. I will definitely do this at least once a week. I don't think I'll be able to do this more than twice a week. So it'll be half as much content here. Hope maybe that's what you needed to hear to join my Patreon for $3 whole a month. But yeah, I'm not going to just like disappear forever. It's just, yeah, for example, for the last 3 years, I've put between 40 and 60 hours a week into this. If I have to go to a job at a desk for 40 hours a week, yeah, I'll probably only be able to put maybe 10 hours a week into this. So the quality will change quite a bit. But I'm not going anywhere. So there's that, which is good. But support me if you can. I would love to keep doing this full time, but yeah, with what's happening in America for at least another 2 years, you know, people doing fun shit are gonna have to bail. That's just the way it is. Be good, friends. I'll see you tomorrow night at 10. Here's some more flying my frame with the narrow angle camera out in front of the house. Here's the continuation of the flight footage from before. Why is that starting with me flying down the street? What's happening here? Hold on. This should be a good battery. Oh my god, this computer. I think something has seriously happened to this computer. It is just... It is just not loving life. There we go, though. Got it. See you guys tomorrow night.
grass grows wild. CiottiFPV's goggles locked, grinning like a child. Teddy spaghetti's fur flies and jet wash dreams, yeah. Chasing small whoops like a dog possessed fiend. Eyes on a neon blur, hard in the chase. Big fuzz and prop spin all tangled in place, yeah. Four-legged rebel with a rotor stir tail. In the circus of the sky, they never fail. CiottiFPV, Teddy spaghetti, dynamic duo kings, barking at the breeze, throttling at top speed, they zooming through hoops, flipping in style. That schnauzer's got throttle and a toothy smile. Yeah. Ciotti's on sticks, Teddy's on paws. Side by side, legends breaking all the laws. Through the kitchen, over couch scale terrain. Backyard mayhem in their flight domain. No ground too sacred, no loop too tight. Fuzz, fuel, fury ignites the night. When pilot and pup lock eyes on the prize, every whoop they conquer is a fresh cut surprise. Yeah. Ciotti behind the sticks, Teddy's leading the pack. Prop guard missiles unleashed, never looking back. No leash, no map, just freestyle mic. They on the dog drone streets every day and night. Said whoops, hitting low, gotta nail the dive. Teddy push throttle up, feel the beast come alive. I see the neon arc, got the sticks locked in, Teddy. Yeah, let's rip this loop, ride the roar of the wind, Teddy. Yep. Yeah, CiottiFPV, Teddy spaghetti, diamond and duo kings, barking at the breeze, throttling at top speed, zooming through hoops, flipping in style. That schnauzer's got throttle